John, we were talking about the guy wanting to buy the stereo and saying, you know, I want one that looks kind of cool, or you know,
right.
I like the lights and things because he was into what it looks like. And we're talking about how to make communication effective. How would a salesperson screw that up, or how would a salesperson make that work? And if you could also, at the same time you're answering that, tell the people who are listening or watching how, if they're trying to similarly communicate an idea, a political concept to somebody, or, you know, and of course this applies to everything, but, you know, again, it's a political talk show. Mm-hmm. How to be most effective at doing that? Because I'm guessing that they're pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically you're talking about influence. Mm-hmm. So to me, persuasion and influence, they come under the same category. Anybody who thinks they're not influencing people, it's time to wake up.
Well, you know, one of the big objections is, oh my God, this is manipulation.
Right. There are a couple of ways to answer that question. One is, yes, it is. And if you look at the definition, that means to move something from point A to point B. Some people have had a negative experience around the word, which I understand that. However, if you're in an elevator and there's someone else in the elevator and you smile at them, why are you smiling at them? And most people say, well, so let's smile back. And my next question is, are you manipulating them? So, you know, I also understand that the negative side of it. But you know what? We don't propose that at all. I mean, that's you know, we want to do the win-win thing.
Yeah, you guys are, one of the things that really impresses me about you guys is that you're really high integrity, you know, in what you're doing, and the whole ecology check thing. But back to the salesman who's trying to convince, or the friend that you're trying to convince about a political point of view.
Yep. One thing is you got to be honest about your product or your service. I mean, that's important. And how are you going to communicate that, right? You've got to know your market. You know, you've got to know who are the buyers in your market, basically, really. Sexes, even, I don't care, it could be politics for that matter, right, depending on what it is you're selling.
Sure.
And there's something else that comes in that we refer to. It comes down to, it's basically about integrity kind of a thing, as you mentioned. And what happens is that people are going to track, okay, and it's very easy for them to do that. Do your words match your behavior? And that's something we look at based on, is it congruency or incongruency? Example, simple, I could use one in business, lots of them in politics. It doesn't even matter who the party is. It doesn't matter to me. You know, in a business, the boss will come and say, listen, we've got to cut costs and cut expenses. You got to lay 3 people off. And then he gets new furniture and hires 2 secretaries. But that's about not communicating the right message to begin with. We don't propose any of that. It does come into play, definitely in politics. It definitely comes into play. You know, some people play to their audience and then change it later, or they play to the different audience and then they change it. Right. I don't think people are that stupid that they don't pick that up. I think people pick that up.
In other words, eventually intentionally deceptive attempts at communication inevitably fail.
Yeah, we don't
typically fail.
Yeah, we don't support that at all. Another thing about the technology and using it, if you ask someone a question, when I ask someone a question anyway, I expect an answer to that question. So are you paying attention as the communicator? So if I want information from someone and they go off on track B, am I going to come back and then repeat the question? Right? Because of the way the brain works, it's very fascinating to me. When you ask a question, people have to search for the answer to the question. And the one thing I don't know, unless there's some deception involved somewhere along the line, is how is it possible? Because once that question is being searched, the answer to the question is being searched in their brain, how do they change the track and go someplace else and not answer the question?
Right. I'm
fascinated by that. I'm just fascinated by that. And I understand not answering the question sometimes.
Sure.
Right? But it's all based on, the technology it's about that too. Are you paying attention as the communicator? Are you getting the responses you want or not getting the responses you want?
Are you speaking in multiple modalities?
That's right.
Are you talking visual, kinesthetic, auditory?
That's right. That too.
How do you do that?
You do it simply. You know, so I'm sitting here with you and I'm watching you as we're speaking, and I'm getting a sense for that you do a really great program here. Okay, so I just cycled around.
Right, so you just said visual, auditory, kinesthetic.
Right.
So, and thank you, by the way.
It is a great program. I'm not kidding. And so, you know, I basically teach people, if they want to get the message across, and it's to the masses or groups of people, basically, then learn to cycle through. You know, use visual words, auditory words, kinesthetic words, and more visual words, auditory words, kinesthetic words, right? And so, you know, once again, right, you know, so you and I you're downstairs, you're doing parts of the seminar with us and things like that, right? And you're watching what's going on, you're engaging with people, you're talking to different people, you're doing exercise with people, so you're understanding more and more about how these things work.
Right.
And then after that's going to happen, then you're going to be able to see even more results going on because you're talking to different people and you're doing more kinesthetic things, right? Yeah. You're engaging more things, right? It'll be a kinesthetic work. So it's just a matter of practicing.
That's the
practicing.
There you go. John Lavelle, he is the president of the Society of NLP and the website purenlp.com.